Hey, I'm Goat with M Productions. We're here at the Inman Party 2023 in our continuing series of interviews, and we're going way back in the Wayback Machine, all the way back to the beginning with the one and the only Jeff Will. Now Jeff goes all the way back. We're gonna start way back. We want to hear how it started for you. We're gonna start off with an easy one. We kind of start everybody off with this one. So tell us how you first became aware of a skateboard.
So my parents were involved in the water ski competition era back in the early 60s. And because of the water ski influence of competition as teenagers, that was my brothers. I have 4 older brothers, and we started doing our own competition skateboarding through slalom cones behind the bike, pulling us with a ski handle down the street.
Okay, all right.
So
that was time I've heard that.
That was in 1966. Okay, we're talking sometimes metal wheels, but at the best clay wheels back then. Okay.
Okay.
So that was my first I like to go fast on the skateboard.
Okay.
1965, 66, 67. I'm 7 years old.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So that was my beginning.
6, 7 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and then, in about 1973, Skateboard City on Auburn Boulevard had an arrangement of boards. There was only 4 or 5 different boards you could get at the time, but the Excalibur, I believe it was Bennett Trucks, I'm not sure. That was really the beginning of learning how to skateboard with some style.
What's first urethane wheel you ever had?
I don't think it was Road Rider. I'm not sure.
Was it loose ball bearing?
Yeah, loose ball bearing. Yeah, there was no precision bearings.
Loose
back
ball,
then.
maybe some roller sports, possibly.
Possibly.
Maybe
Yeah.
did you get the wide ones? Remember the Stokers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for all you uninitiated, way back when it first started, urethane wheels came out, but they were made for roller skates. Roller skates actually invented urethane wheels, but they were loose ball bearings, just like the clay wheels and the other ones. So, and then it was when it graduated to precision bearings with the Road Rider 2 was the big breakthrough. Do you recall about what period you broke through into precision bearings?
So here's how it happened. We had a decent board back then, urethane wheels. I was also a snow ski racer, and I met John Wilson and Robert Yogi from CalPro at the Sacramento Bee Silver Ski Race at Heavenly Valley. And at the time, I didn't know who they were. I actually stole some skis from the lodge. They were 235s. I was 5'4" at the time. And longer is faster. And I had a big foot, so big old guy, stole his skis, went up to the top of the hill. No practice runs. You get one run, best time wins. Well, I crashed on the run, got up, still made it down, and got 3rd place in that race.
Okay.
Robert and John came up to me. I thought they were cops. And they said, "Hey, we really like your attitude towards racing." And they go, "How'd you like to train off season on skateboards?" And that is how I started racing and riding for CalPro. And had really no idea that racing was involved.
It's interesting you say that because your story is unique because you seem to have gotten to skateboarding from an already competitive level and approached it as a tool for training. We've heard about the off-season training for skateboards. Turner Summer Ski comes to mind. And we've heard about that, but we don't really know anybody in the crowd that came to it that way. We were all dicking around in streets for 5 years as little kids and working our way up to figure out how it worked, but you jumped right into competition from the beginning.
Right. Now, I don't know if you know a history about John Wilson and Robert Yogi.
No, not really.
So they were Porsche mechanics that lived in Seal Beach.
Okay.
And they worked for the Porsche racing team. They developed a skateboard team in Southern California, California Pro Skateboards. Okay. Roy Jameson Ed Nadelin, Steve Shipp, Ellen O'Neill. They brought that market to Sacramento in 1974.
Yeah.
So when I met them, the racing aspect of skateboarding was something that was what drew me in.
It was already there.
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
right. I
That
was
the
also a
goal.
gymnast, so I could do a handstand, and I could do a handstand on a skateboard.
There you go.
So I was actually competing in the freestyle, the slalom, and absolutely there was no vert or bank riding back in the early 70s. Those two events.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That was my personal beef back in the day when I was freestyle kid. Was my personal thing is I always said that skateboarding's done on your feet. And I always hated the dudes doing a handstand and winning some contest.
That's how I won my first contest.
Just because you could do a handstand for 30 feet.
So in 1975, I won my first contest at Skateboard City by doing a handstand in the parking lot. I won. That's all I had to do.
You know, like I said.
that is a true story. So
And
we talk about
I was going to say the tricks, right?
Yeah.
I lost the state championships in Oceanside one time to a kid who did a triple kickflip off a picnic table.
yeah, right.
Meanwhile, I was doing 40 360s and nose wheelies into 10 nose 360s. Nah, triple kickflip static off a picnic table. That does it every time. You and your handstands.
Right.
So you're rolling along, you're racing, you're skating for Cal Pro by now?
Right. So CalPro met me at the summer of '74 or winter of '74, February. Started riding for them. They started training me to race. I don't know if you remember, but they had the Signal Hill racers back then. And my brother weighed about 40 pounds more than I did. So he got roped into being the downhill racer for CalPro.
Okay.
And so we...
Did your brother run Signal Hill?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, wow.
He
He's
did.
one of a pretty exclusive club.
Yeah, that's my brother's name is Jan Drupieski. He actually had the fastest time, but he crashed. So there you go.
Okay. There you go.
And that was in 1975. So there's some footage of that, and we have it. And I could go to an offshoot about how we got him to be so fast. Gary Cross and I were actually the ones pushing my brother on the pre-start down the hill, and my brother was screaming at us, "That's fast enough! That's enough! That's enough!" So
Love it.
Yeah.
Side story, the Inman Skateboard Museum just acquired 2 years ago an NOS brand new mint set of Road Rider red 4-inch Signal Hill downhill wheels. NOS never used. We got them from Charlie Gonzalez.
No way.
So it's an old name. I knew that you would know it.
Yeah.
So Charlie Gonzalez, the first professional skateboarder for Santa Cruz Skateboards, first professional ever paid money. He was from Florida. They moved him out here, and I met him. It was an eBay deal. I met him. We started talking. I texted him. We talked on the phone for 2.5 hours. You know, and I made a deal for these wheels. Those very same wheels that are run on Signal Hill.
Right.
There's only a handful of people that ever ran on Signal Hill. How many Inmen have run on Signal Hill?
You know, Bostic, maybe Jamie Hart,
Jamie Hart,
John Krisick, maybe
Cliff Coleman.
Cliff Coleman. Right. Okay, there you go.
I think we got four.
That's it.
Got
That's
four.
it.
For all you skateboard fans of history out there, you go look up Signal Hill skateboard racing, 1975. You can start there and see how it went. I think, I'm just guessing off the top of my head, the first place anyone ever went 50 miles an hour on a skateboard.
Right.
And it was inside a coffin luge. It's a crazy thing. Just saw it the other day at the Skateboard Hall of Fame. But we're on a tangent.
Okay.
So you're skating. We got Signal Hill. This is about 75, 76.
Correct.
You're on Team Cal Pro.
Right.
That's all good.
Right.
You're based up here, though. Do you ever do? But you're going to SoCal to skate with the Cal Pro guys all the time.
Yeah.
So you're meeting everybody. You're getting around. When do hardcore contests start?
So, with skating with Ed Nadelin and Steve Shipp, these are two of like the flowiest freestyle riders on the planet back in the day. So I was practicing with them. I ended up winning the Ventura Band State Championship in 1975 in freestyle as an amateur. This is amateur racing. I was the only amateur on Cal Pro for about 5 years. Everybody else was professional. So I'm competing as an amateur, but at the same time, I'm trying to keep my eligibility as an amateur at high school sports because I was a varsity water polo player at a freshman.
Okay.
So I was hoping to
Yeah.
continue doing that. So John Wilson and CalPro took me all around. I don't know if you remember, I was at Carlsbad for the audition for the Pepsi commercial back in
Okay.
1975.
Yep. Yep.
And
You must have seen Richie there.
so they don't know this, and there's some people that won't tell you this, but all the pro riders from Dogtown, Z-Boys, they all took acid the day of the audition. They couldn't even stand up. And I was sitting on the bank watching the audition, and a promoter came up to me. She said, "Why don't you go out there and skate?" And I said, "Well, I'm not a pro." She goes, "I don't care. Take your picture and go out there." I ended up being a principal in one of the longest running Pepsi commercials in history.
There you go.
And with that, all of a sudden I was getting paid, I was making money, and skateboarding was more than just a hobby. It was actually a fucking dream.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
You know, I guess, you know, the case can be made that possibly Jeff might be the first professional
paid skater.
skateboarder.
So I was not professional, for the record. I was an actor getting paid
Okay,
through
see?
SAG.
See? That's how you get around it.
My friends would tell me, "You're not a professional skateboarder. You're a fucking actor." So
There you go.
There you go.
So we got that. Okay, CalPro's working. That's the middle and late 70s.
Yep.
And we're cruising along. What were the let me ask you this. We haven't asked a lot of people this because not a lot of everybody have lived through it. But what was your take on the decline of skateboarding when all the parks closed, you know, the end of the 70s?
Okay, so I got to be honest. The end of 1977, September 3rd. I don't know that you remember this. I broke my femur in an empty swimming pool, compound fracture.
Oh.
That was the day before school, my senior year. All my sponsors, CalPro, Coast Polyamics, Hobie, Toys R Us, ACS Trucks, they all pulled out. It was a
Wow.
career-ending injury, compound fracture.
Yeah.
So at that time, I only competed one more time, and that was at the Berkeley contest.
I was there.
I had shitty wheels. Rod from Skateboard City was already pissed off at me because I probably stole boards out of his shop. So he mismarked a cone and I crashed on that race. That was my last competition.
Yeah.
So the decline of the industry kind of fell after that.
Okay.
So honestly, I did demos, a few, but I never competed until 2015 when I started racing again with Gary Cross.
Okay. Started coming up to, again, N-Men coming off the couch, proving they can do it.
Oh yeah.
And he did it. So that's a very interesting story. It's somewhat similar to mine. I broke my knee in '78 in Cherry Hills, New Jersey at a contest, and never the same. That's what I did. It still hurts to this day.
Yeah.
You know, that's what he's
Yeah, I
saying.
got some scars. I don't have tattoos. I got lots of scars.
Wait, we wanted to get Jeff in here tonight. We wanted him to tell the story because there's no other harder charger than anybody else out there that we've got. This guy, and especially coming back later in life, right? That's what this is all about. You know, hell, I'm even on a skateboard once in a while now. But we'd like to thank Jeff for coming out. N-Men interviews at the N-Men Party 2023 with one of the oldest OGs out there, originator and founder of the N-Men, also Mr. Jeff Will. Thanks, everybody. Remember, I'm GOAT. Look for us next time. We're out.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for not letting me go too long. I love you, brother.